I can't take it no more. What happened? Is he beefing with kids on Twitter too much about One Frame Man and it's got his brain too much cooked? Recently, I've had my little bout against the Gachakuda feminist category that I didn't know existed. Now I do know they exist. I'll still watch Gachakuda. It doesn't impact me. It seems like a sincere, genuine mental health awareness type of videos rather than the other type of videos, huh? Let's listen.
Hey guys, Nicholas Real TV here today. Not the usual fake one. 2025, I've got...
This is the real one. Nicholas Light is the persona. It's crazy, I know. But like, this some Oshinoko shit where he like method acts as Nicholas Light when he does the performances. But like, this is the real person, the introvert.
I myself in some controversies. At the end of the day, I didn't sexually assault anyone. I didn't rape anybody.
True.
I didn't cheat on my wife. No,
True.
My controversies were related to anime.
Yeah, just fighting with kids online about anime. Too big. I think beginning of the year, nothing really happened because Soul Leveling was popping off. Everything was just kind of fine. There was a little bit of drama with the Anime Crunchyroll award ceremony, but that wasn't like drama where Nick is like in the middle getting crucified, right? That's just like, wow, how the fuck did Ninja Kamui win? How the hell did Soul Leveling win? And then spring was pretty quiet. Summer, Lord of the Mysteries. That shit was fucking crazy. That shit was fucking crazy. We got even fucking your boy Roshi involved somehow. And that arc, ooh, that shit was popping off. I rode the wave really hard. And, you know, as much as I say be better and, you know, drama, blah, blah. Like, what I'm trying to say is I capitalized very hard off the drama. So these are honestly like, it's like my Super Bowl. And then this fall, One Punch Man. And I think that the One Frame Man farm is definitely, it is fatiguing, but damn, it's still going.
So it's safe to say we made it through the year and we're good. Can't say the same for other people. But anyways, today I am going to be highlighting something that I saw this past week that, if I'm going to be honest with you guys, it honestly changed my life. It lit a fire under my ass that I thought disappeared a few years ago. You know, once you find success, you could fall into this abyss in which I call comfort.
Holy! These are millionaire problems. No, it's a true thing where when you're hungry, when you have a 9 to 5 that seems hopeless and there's no light at the end of the tunnel, and you start a YouTube channel on the side and you're excited to come back from home, from work, from an 8-hour shift, and you lock in, you go live, you start streaming to an audience of fucking 10 people. You're making videos that average 100 views if you're lucky. Those moments are honestly some of my best moments in my past when I look back to it. Lately, I feel like I've gotten a lot of spoiled myself. I think that the whatever success that's come to me is making me be like, why not just take a rest day, you know? Why do it so hard? Back in the day, it's a hungry fucking dog, man, and hungry dogs run faster.
Not comfortable, but I'm telling you, what I'm about to show you, let's just say in the new year, I'm going to be far from comfortable.
Is it a comment saying, get a real job? It's gonna be some hater saying, I'm a 10-year Patreon subscriber, your content is dog shit, you're lazy, I'm leaving. I don't know, I feel like Nick usually gets motivated off the haters.
And this lands us on today's topic, streaming, aka...
Oh shit! Okay, now this is a I thought we were doing personal private Nicholas Light shit today. Oh, I got a lot to say about this. Yes. Cutie Cinderella says she would have been a happier person if she never became a streamer. The biggest thing I wish I could do if I went back and was able to whisper in my ear, I would say, don't do it. Yeah, if you guys don't know, girlfriend of Ludwig's, big content creator, both big content creators, makes the streamer award show, which is a fucking disaster every time in terms of drama. Holy shit. The Iron Mouse drama happening right now from the VTuber scene, it's fucking nasty, but let's hear what he has to say.
This on today's topic, streaming, aka the hardest job in the world. Seriously, guys, when I wake up in the morning and I have to walk downstairs to my basement, take my time, have my pre-workout, and then I have to make the hard decision of what anime I'm gonna watch today for y'all, or what game I'm gonna play. Honestly, it throws me in the direction.
Get a real job, bro. Holy. I wake up, and you know what I have to do? I have to look through my Discord and see the recommendations from my community of videos that other people have already made for me to lazily react to and make money off of that. Do you know what it's like? The pressure that exists in my mind as a React Messiah, knowing I have 5 shows to watch every day, while there's lazy fucking construction workers outside banging and making noises that wakes me up in the morning. God, so fucking annoying.
Of thinking about taking my razor blades back out. I think it's as hard as a decision to stream than it is to tell the doctor if they should keep your grandfather alive or not.
Jesus
while he's
Christ.
In a vegetable state. And if I'm being honest with you, I think streaming is way harder than that. So let's read this tweet by
I think we should watch the clip too, because what she said, she did say. But there is some, again, context and nuance. Just like remember when Hassan said this? 1 second. I'm going to try to look at if we can actually find this scene. Cutie Cinderella. Streaming is hard. If anyone has an actual clip to Cutie Cinderella actually saying what she said, I saw it on Twitter, I think, right? If you guys have it, please post on Discord, because there actually is some meaningful context in what she said. And a lot of the times, these Twitter accounts will clip very specific sentences in a full discussion out of context. And people will get very upset at that shit. I think it was during an interview. I think she was on an interview. Maybe like Nick himself like actually does watch the clip. If you guys don't know, let me know, okay? So I'm going to keep playing the video, but if you guys have anything on the side, just let me know.
By QT Cinderella. If y'all know who she is, it's Ludwig's girl, wife, whatever the fuck she is. QT Cinderella says she would have been a happier person if she never became a streamer. The biggest thing I wish I could do if I went back and was able to whisper in my ear, I would say, don't do it. Yeah, don't do it. Those millions.
It's very like a slap in the face as a successful streamer. Not even just like a successful streamer. I think even a person who has like 100 viewers, that averages 100 viewers, is a successful streamer. I think that if you can average 20 people, that is successful streaming. Did you know that if you have like minimum, like 20 fucking people averaging, you already are like top 1%? But what I'm trying to say is there's a top 1% of the top 1%. This is a very top heavy dominated market where people who go live to like multiple tens of thousands of people, they truly do just dominate the platform. And Cutie Cinderella, she kind of is part of that crowd. And when you have this much success, doing something that is basically treated as celebrity status, you know, like when kids grow up these days, what do they say? They say, do they say they want to be a doctor? Do they say they want to be a lawyer or engineer? I think they say they want to be a YouTuber, right? And I think there was like a video made from like comparing kids from China, where Chinese kids are growing up and they're like, I want to be an astronaut, I want to be an engineer, I want to be a scientist. And we got American kids saying, I want to be a YouTuber. Because isn't it amazing that you can just stream, play video games, talk about whatever you want, and make more money than those actual jobs? You posted on Discord about streaming is hard? All right, let me get the clip, because I feel like we actually do need that clip. Let me bring this up. This is from TikTok. BBC News. Big Black Hawk News. All right, I want you to listen to this, and this is the full context.
One of the worst things you can do as like a people pleaser, because you will never please everybody. I didn't know that. So the biggest
huge right there. If you're trying to appeal to everyone, you will appeal to nobody. There will come a time, and I think Iron Mouse is actually getting caught up in the current situation right now, where tribes and little subgroups will form, and if you don't make your stance explicitly, other people will make your stance for you, and you try to appeal to everybody, they will start hating on you, and you have to be true to yourself. A lot of these content creators are so captured by their audience of like this moral compass of being woke. Listen, I'm all for human rights. I think that women should have rights. I think that what's happening in, for example, Gaza or Ukraine is terrible. I think that people being nasty and mean to trans people for simply existing is terrible. But those issues get taken way further, and then the audience become radicalized, and they try to do a purity test on the content creators themselves, and the content creators are so afraid of losing that audience, they bend over and basically start wearing a mask, trying to be a holier than thou person, trying to appeal to everybody. And once that mask comes off, then everyone starts shitting on you because you were never being true to yourself. You're trying to please everybody, which is a problem.
Thing I wish I could do, if I went back and was able to whisper in my ear, would say, don't do it.
Really? Even
Yeah.
with all
So far, she said, streaming is difficult if you're trying to please everybody. That's something I learned, you know, like I didn't know back in the day. And now she's saying if I could go back, then I wouldn't do it, right?
Ear would say, don't do it.
really,
do it.
even
Yeah.
with all the kind of benefits.
This is my job, and it's a very hard one to leave, right? Because I feel
Success.
guilty. I have an audience. I have success. I have who am I to throw away this incredible opportunity? And
so like this part's obviously not going to be included in like those tweets because they're trying to frame her in the most dishonest way possible, right? That's why it's so important, I think, that you actually go look at the source material and find out for yourself what's being said. Because here you have her being aware of the privileged position she is in and saying, who am I to throw away this opportunity? And she's talking about this specific niche problem, a mental problem of like basically trying to please everyone and basically falling short. And if I could go back in time, I would tell myself not to do that, right? But there's still more. Let's keep watching.
there's a lot of things that I think about, but it's hard. I say it's like death by 1,000 cuts. One paper cut can't kill you, but when you get it again and again.
Yes. You'll see often how irritable I am on stream, and I'll fucking pop off on the random fucking comments that is probably just like a joke or something, because online there is no sarcasm online. Everybody, and on top of that, it's hard to actually distinguish, you know, jokes from real things. And as well as that, you are conditioned to basically expect a person to be nasty to you as a content creator if you've actually made content and seen the amount of hate and the backlash and the criticisms and all the negative shit. You basically become primed to it. Therefore, you're kind of like always on like alert. You're like on guard, and it does become like a death by 1,000 paper cuts where every day it's nothing crazy. Every day it's nothing crazy, but you do it every day. You start to go fucking crazy. It's like a mental debuff, right?
And again and again and again, it's hard to stay standing. I just feel too incredibly lucky to walk away from it, even though there are a lot of negatives. But if I could go back and never do it and never experience some of the things that I've experienced because of this job, I do think I would be like a happier person. Streaming.
I don't even think that's a crazy take. I think what she said is very level-headed and is very aware of the privileged position she is in and the success that she had. She talks about the specific problems that she had. And even at the end, right? Listen to what she said at the end.
Never do it and never experience some of the things that I've experienced because of this job. I do think I would be like a happier person. Stream.
She says that she might be a happier person. Basically, happiness here is not defined by the amount of money you make, right? The happiness that Cutie is talking about is the mental peace that she will have because, you know, I don't know what she thinks. Maybe she thinks that she can just work a 9 to 5 and not have like this soulless, you know, struggle every day. Because there's a lot of different type of mental fatigue. And I think that Cutie is misunderstanding. Well, there's a couple of things. The most people watching and reading stuff like this are going to take the most dishonest, disingenuous way, not give her the benefit of the doubt and blame her and label her as like the most like entitled streamer ever. But she's talking about this specific struggle about mental health. But she's also unaware if she goes back to a regular 9 to 5, that it will be very soulless. And that also erodes at your head. And a lot of people in the workforce are going to look at this and be like, do you think like there's mental peace here? Like you have no fucking clue. You're out of touch. So there's definitely fault there. But now you know the full context.
The millions of dollars, making a living.
She's worthless. Yeah, you know what? I after basically everything that I've just said to basically provide context and to paint the type of person Cutie Cinderella could be, the Twitch chatter whose main character's name is gonna say she worthless. I need you to understand, you're an actual retard. Like, this is not me joking. We're not having fun here. Like, you are genuinely retarded. If you have actually been paying attention and listening to what I'm saying, and this is your conclusion about Cutie Cinderella at this point, holy fuck. And you know what? No. This is the perfect, like, example of the type of people that eat up these clickbait, dishonest news, rage bait engagement. They only see the surface. They only see the most shallow, just like highly optimized for negative engagement, you know, baits. They take it and then they go along with it. And most people are like that because most people don't have time to actually look into things. They're retarded. They're illiterate. They just don't have critical thinking skills. And this is why we as human beings will be slaves forever. We will never unite on any cause and fight against oppression. I think that the smartest and the most powerful people have realized that humanity is doomed because we are retarded. Let's not try to save everybody. Let's just collect the amount of influence and power we can in our corner and make sure that these livestock are just busy while they fucking make profit for us. I think that's what's going on.
Living on your own schedule, you know, walking into your room, turning the camera on, crying to your audiences, playing.
She does do that a lot. I feel like the crying stuff, like, god fucking damn. Every year, it's the same shit of leading into streamer rewards, and now she's fucking crying about bullshit. It's just like, oh my god, and then more eyes and basically more engagement, and it's like extra marketing. I don't know if she's doing consciously or not.
Lying to your audiences, playing video games, reacting. That's
Yeah.
way harder than the people that sacrifice their lives on the front lines. That's
Yeah.
way harder than the construction workers working 6 a.m. on the highway. You know those things called miners? Not the type of miners that this
Whoa,
guy
whoa, whoa,
likes.
whoa,
Old
whoa.
enough to count, old enough to mount? Question
Hello,
mark?
Hassan.
I'm talking about the miners, and not
That is a crazy thing to say back in the day, right? Especially coming from Hassan.
like Minecraft, like the games that you streamers play, but I'm talking about actual miners. Fucking losers. Only if they understood the amount of work that this person puts into the streamer awards. Yeah, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you guys. This statement right here, it's a load of bullshit.
It is a load of bullshit when you see from the perspective of Nicholas Light, who is only seeing this post and thinking that this is an out of touch, 1% of the 1%er, who has such a easy job to do in terms of like physical requirements, right? Because again, no one's going to be arguing that like she has to do more physically demanding work than, let's say, a person working outside, for minimum wage, hard labor. Absolutely not. But the specific struggles that she's talking about is what? The mental health challenges that she faces due to the amount of engagement and backlash there is online, which I'm sure Nicholas Light understands because he is at the centerpiece of all of that and he crashes out all the time. He gets rage baited, and often we have to, collect ourselves and come together and realize that these are just bad faith actors. But again, right, this is what happens when you have such vague, generalized posts and people just kind of making rounds off of that.
Another phrase I would like to label this would be out of touch. So everything I'm about to talk about isn't really talking directly to QT Cinderella. Oh,
Sure.
and by the way, one more thing.
I like how she says cutie. I say cutie, like cutie Cinderella. Like, I don't know, like I'm a cutie pie, like cutie. C-U-T-I-E, but it's like QT, the letters.
Boyfriend, husband, dog, whatever he is. If you look up his net worth, it's north of 10 million. Okay. Anyways, everything I'm about to talk about isn't really directed only towards QT Cinderella, but every single streamer, content creator, celebrity, whatever
Yourself included?
you are that says these types of things.
Yeah.
You make a living off of people that make a living struggling to make a living.
True.
When I press that go live button, you don't know how many people are tuning in from their lunch breaks. Some of them are in the middle of class. A lot of people can't even attend because they're working. And I'm not
I tell them to quit their job, drop out of school. What are you doing? You're not dropping out of school to watch me watch a show you've already watched? What are you fucking doing with your life?
not gonna lie. There were times, maybe even this year, where I was like, damn, I'm a little burnt out. And to be honest with you guys, I was. I'm not gonna say, oh, everybody else is working, I should be grateful and just go live. I'm allowed to feel the feelings that I feel. Streamers, you're allowed to feel overworked. You're allowed to feel burnt out. But the second you say some shit like this, I wish I never streamed, and you're constantly complaining about your life as a streamer to your audience that would sacrifice a fucking limb to be in your position, to me, it's the ultimate disrespect.
And it's the worst thing that you can do as a content creator to vent out your problems to your audience. And I've been very consistent about this. Never cry, never complain, never talk about your problems because people are watching you to basically escape from their problems. I know that this is a reality that no one wants to really talk about because it's something, it gets a little bit too real, but you know how I am. Most people are treating your content as a form of escapism. They have some bullshit happening in their life. The last thing that they want to hear after coming from school, from work, whatever, is to hear you, who is making just so much more money than they could, doing something they could only imagine, dream of doing, and now you're going to complain about your state of being. It is unrelatable. It is, they can't empathize. They can't even sympathize. They can't even imagine. It's like, I would literally just like kill to be in your position and you're complaining about this shit, and then they start to turn against you, right? And that's why it's so difficult as a content creator, as somebody who needs to get a real job, to ever talk about these type of mental health issues because of the backlash you're going to get. I think the best way to do it is to basically talk about it. Don't say, oh, woe is me, I've had a bad day, you know, these bad things are happening in my life, you know, oh my God, please donate money so I can pay rent. No, you should be talking. I do this all the time. I talk about these are the struggles that I'm facing, and, you know, this is my game plan. I complain, I vent, I talk about how, you know, my mental health, and I tell you that this is what I'm going to do to change it, or this is what I'm going to do to kind of go forward, right? If all you're doing is complaining, then you're a loser. Then other people will sift, you know, smell that, and they don't want to be around that, right? But a really tricky thing about this is even someone like me that would make those kind of comprehensive videos could be clipped out of context and it's not even clipped out of context. This is just like this ain't even a clip that they showed. They just simply paraphrased what Cutie said in such a general way, completely ignoring the parts where she acknowledges the privileges she has. Like, again, I think that Nick would have a different, like, I've seen Nick complain about content creation too, about how he gets burnt out, but he's very aware. He talks about how his dad, you know, used to work so fucking hard. He's like an actual laborer, right, doing construction work, and how he reminds himself of that and looks at the position that he's in and thinks that it's so selfish, that it's so out of touch, right? I don't think Cutie is so out of touch that she is saying all these things. I think she's specifically talking about the mental health issues that is very specific for streamers, and to be talking about that and how she'd be a happier person if she never streamed because of that one part. But there is, again, this like very out of touch, you know, position, because many people who work 9 to 5s, regular jobs, do you think they're free from these type of interactions? To be honest, I think that the way that I handle my content, it's like way more stress relief, because like back in my old jobs, there would be amount of clients, customer facing roles that I would just be so fucking annoyed at. It's basically rude chatters coming in and being hostile or mean to you. But you as an employee can't talk back. You can't just say, shut the fuck up, retard, and ban them. Or make a whole video crucifying why they're stupid and make money out of them, right? You get fired if you do that. So the fact that I can do it now is like so stress relieving that perhaps my mental health is better compared to when I was at my day job facing those customer facing roles, right? Something interesting to think about.
I know what it's like to wake up at 10 p.m., not a.m., 10 p.m. to get ready and be at work at 11 a.m. and work till 6 a.m. You're going to sleep at like 12.
What?
Ready to wake up, be in your position. To me, it's the ultimate disrespect. I know what it's like to wake up at 10 p.m., not
10 p.m. at night.
a.m., 10 p.m. to get ready and be at work at 11 a.m.
What the fuck are you doing 13 hours getting ready? Are you like flying out to an oil rig? Like, it's gotta be something crazy, right? Like 13-hour prep, it has to be something insane.
And work till 6 a.m. You're going to sleep at like 12 p.m., like noon or 1 p.m. While everybody else is living, your day is flipped. So what happens? You miss out on relationships, you miss out hanging out with your friends, you miss out hanging out with your family.
I literally do that right now while I have the privilege of choosing when I want to work. I have surpassed the time itself. You guys, sometimes I get up at 10 p.m. to go live at midnight. It's because I can. Sometimes, you know, it's like the concept of time, day shift, night shift doesn't exist to me. Like, so with all the fucking privileges of being on my own schedule, I still, like, nothing changes, huh?
Honestly, I'd rather be dead than go back to that. My dad used to wake up 4 in the morning. You know, he'd wake up, he'd do his shaving and everything. He'd get up, he'd get a wet towel and wet his face and everything. He would wake up 4:05 a.m. to walk to the bus stop, be at the bus stop around 5 a.m. And he would have to walk to that bus stop. It was like a 15-minute walk. Doesn't matter if it snowed, rained, thunderstorm, whatever, hurricane, fucking tsunami. He would walk there. And then he would have to take the bus about 30 minutes to the train. Then he would have to take the train to another bus, and then to take that bus.
Holy, this is the most stereotypical back in my day dad, bro. Bro talking about how he had to fucking split the Red Sea and climb over the fucking Mount Everest to get to school. But this is real, like, this shit happens.
His job. And then he would work from about 8 a.m. to like 5. And then he would be home around 6:30. I barely talked to my dad because he provided the money for the family.
And guess what? You're home, and then you go to bed, and then it starts again. And that is haunting. A 9 to 5 is not really a 9 to 5. It's honestly a 6-7. Let me cook. A 9 to 5 doesn't mean you start at 9 and end at 5. You have to get up, think about the commute, Think about the breakfast or lunch prep. Maybe you're going to the gym. You have to wake up really early to that. Maybe you're working at 6 a.m. and then you go to work, you get to 9 and you're end at 5. But maybe your work culture doesn't allow you to leave at 5, right? And maybe you're lucky to get out at 5 immediately. Then there's traffic, then there's dinner and blah, blah, blah. You get home by like 7. Then you got to get up because you got to get up by 6 and you got to do this every day, every fucking weekday. And that haunts you. It is so fucked up in the way that it erodes away at your mental health. You are literally part of the matrix. As much as it's cringe to say wake up, break up free from the matrix, it feels like you're part of the system where every day is just flipping through, days are going by, yet you have nothing to show for other than this fucking paycheck you're collecting. And maybe people are fulfilled with their jobs and they want to climb that corporate ladder. But to me, it just was like, what is my purpose? What am I doing with my fucking life? Every day, I'm wasting the best days of my life. I'm never going to be as young as I am right now. Going to do something for someone else's goals so that I can collect a paycheck so I can provide a roof over my head. And I have nothing else to show for. That's why, out of pure desperation and hopelessness, I started a YouTube channel to see what can I create on my own. Because putting in extra effort at work is not going to reward me proportionally. Being good at your job at work means that you're going to be doing more job for the other useless idiots at work. That's why it's so important to hide your true power level and have an optimized way where you deliver just enough, but not enough to become someone important to get all these other burdens. Instead, with the free time I had, I created a YouTube channel and worked on the side to the point where I would work 9 to 5, but again, it's not a 9 to 5, right? It's more like a 6, 7, right? You get up really fucking early, go to work, come home, and then, what is it? Stream, make content, 3 videos a day still. And then I pass out. I'd have like an hour or 2 before it's like midnight to go to bed, and I pass out. And you know what? Those times, I loved it. I was so happy because that, even though no matter how physically tiring it was, it actually gave me hope because my bleak life, maybe there is a light at the end of the tunnel. That if I keep working at this, that maybe I can do this full time. Like genuinely, those times I think about how difficult it was making, like I wasn't even making enough money to get a monthly checkout, by the way. Did you know that if you don't make more than $100 through AdSense on a monthly basis, you don't even get paid out? There's a threshold that you have to hit. You have to cross over like $100 to actually, you know, actually get paid out. I wasn't even meeting that. But even then, even if I was making no money, even if I was averaging maybe 20 views per video, because I still didn't even figure out how the algorithm worked back then, it gave me hope that like, man, this is something I've created. This is my purpose. I'm pouring my passion and heart out into it. It hasn't realized its potential yet, but this is something I'm growing. And this actually gives me a reason to fucking live. Because if that wasn't there, every day I come home, I just fucking get high and just like watch anime or just like doom scroll. And it is so depressing. And that, I think, fucks your mental health a lot. That was a whole ass tangent to bring in my personal life experience to it. But I think those things are some things that top streamers don't understand. They think that you can just work a job and you're just going to be comfortable and you're going to be cozy and you're going to just have no more mental health struggles. No. There's always mental health struggles no matter where you go. So the lesson is you have to know how to regulate that. You need to have some sort of hobby or something else that basically creates an identity that is beyond your job, such that, you know, you're not defined by that and you can regulate your mental health.
He provided the groceries. My mom also worked, but she was cooking, picking us up from school right after she worked. She had no time to do whatever she wanted. My dad had no time to do any hobbies
Yeah, this is like sacrifices on sacrifices, right? And that's what happened. That's how, you know, the previous generation lived. You know, dad's out there working all fucking day. Mama's at home taking care of the kids and making sure everything is working. And the kids are kind of being neglected, but they're privileged that they have loving parents to sacrifice themselves. You know, that's what my parents did too. I barely saw them at all because they were immigrant parents coming in here, picking up shitty jobs to fucking afford me to go to school and all that shit.
he had. Meanwhile, I would come home and ask them to buy me new Yu-Gi-Oh cards because my friends at school had better ones. I was pretty much living the life of
And then you get fucking hit. No! Yeah, just a kid, you know? You're not aware of the shit that your parents are going through when you're a kid back then.
A streamer when I was a kid, except the camera wasn't on me. I was having fun. I wasn't exposed to the world. I didn't have to work. And now I'm not saying that streaming, making content isn't work. It is work. I edit all of my videos. I'm literally in this chair editing, doing thumbnails, metadata.
Nah, get a real job. Soft hands, brother. There are people who says this because to them, basically life is about making themselves be the ultimate victims. People who say you have soft hands or that get a real job or like back in my day or like, you know, I worked 80 hours this week. These type of people are the funniest because they're basically professional victims trying to be like, no, I'm the one that's suffering the most. I'm the one that's working the most. No, you don't have a real job. You have to go to the oil rig and basically sacrifice your entire life and put your fucking body to dust and work these crazy hours. It's not a real job because they are unfortunately fucking stupid as Oonga Boonga gorillas who have basically been so exposed to these harsh conditions that their coping mechanism is, surely what I'm doing matters a lot. I'm making a lot of money, putting my life at risk, and now I'm going to downplay other people who are working cushy jobs because those are not real jobs. I only have the real job. It's such an Oonga Boonga mindset. At the end of the day, when people come in and say, get a real job, loser, I tell them, I'm in a different tax bracket compared to your entire family put together. If we're really going to be talking about contributions to society, this economy, about a real job, you understand that the amount of tax that I pay is more than you could ever. You working your shitty ass fucking, you know, office job or your minimum wage job, coming in here telling me to get a real fucking job when I'm literally creating jobs. I'm a CEO. I'm an entrepreneur. I have my own fucking brand. I have multiple fucking business, you know, revenue income streams. I'm paying more tax than you. I'm creating jobs. And you're going to tell me to get a real job? Well, at the end of the day, it's just content creation, right? So this isn't a real job. Don't take it too seriously.
That shit from like 7 a.m. to nighttime. No, it's not the same work as construction workers or people that work at a fucking oil rig, but it's still work. And I'm not trying to put words into your mouth, but a lot of people would die for the job that I have, that us streamers have. So when you go online and you
That's true. That's why, like, I don't fuck around with this shit. I don't know if you guys have realized, but have you guys realized that, like, my upload schedule is fucking crazy? I genuinely don't think there is any other channel that is putting in my level of effort. And I'm not saying this to say I'm the only motherfucker that should get views, but I do believe you can't really count that many people who are uploading 6 videos a day in 4-hour intervals, going live every fucking day to stream for like 5 to 8 hours, covering so many different topics. And I understand it's just reactions, right? These are obviously I'm able to do this because of this business strategy where I scale content off of lazy slop reactions. But the amount of effort that I put into these, you can't just provide slop and just expect to get views. Like, I think that what I'm doing and what I have been doing for the past couple of years, no days off. Every fucking day we go. There's some days where shit happens and I might be live later than most, but I don't fuck around with this shit. For how many years now? 3 years? Don't forget that I had a channel before this that I fucking killed by myself. I deleted that channel by myself because there was copyright issues that I didn't know how to deal with. Now remember, that was also during, like, when I had a job. That first channel that I had, if you guys don't know anything about it, there's a reason why Irumakun Reaction starts at episode 3 here, and I talked briefly in this video. I was literally crying, walking home from work, after I had to kill my first channel because if I got a third strike, I thought that maybe I'm gonna get banned on YouTube off forever. And I did that shit when things were really popping off. One Punch Man manga reactions, Class of the Elite reactions, they were doing really well. The channel was actually growing, and then I had to make this decision. Do I kill this channel despite pouring my heart and soul into it for a year, sacrificing any sort of social life? It was literally 9 to 5 and then grinding YouTube every fucking day for an entire year. And I finally got to see some success off of that, and then I killed that channel. And I told myself, if I was truly meant to be a successful content creator, I can simply do it again, but better. This time I'm going to edit the videos differently. I'm going to have Patreon incentive. I'm going to do it differently. And I did that shit. So it's been like 4 years in the making right now, where every fucking day I'm putting in work. Because, like, I understand how privileged my position is. This privilege is earned. It's not a right. But I'm out here every fucking day putting in the work because this is such a coveted position and an opportunity of a lifetime that may just disappear. It's a very like short, window of frame of opportunity. It's also a young man's game. No one wants to see like some old dude, I don't know. Like a lot of young kids basically want to see a bunch of young kids too. So what I'm trying to say is content creation is so volatile that like plenty of entertaining people will never even be recognized. There's so many good talent out there that doesn't know how to play the social media game and get swept underneath, and their potential will never be realized. It's just a crazy fucking competition for the top. And now that I'm having a little modicum of success, I could back off, but every day I tell myself, no, grind. I'm literally this. There's a quote that I fucking love. The myth of Sisyphus. This is basically an old story about a man who was so arrogant that he got punished by the gods to basically keep pushing a rock up the hill for all of eternity. And I really like this because there's many different interpretations of it. Many people use this in a very doomer way, as in like they use Sisyphus to kind of describe their 9 to 5. Every day you have to get up and do something you don't want to do, and it's an eternal slavery. That's one way to look at it. But the way that I applied this concept to my life is I yearn for the boulder. I yearn for the struggles. The boulder. And finally, Sisyphus returned to the boulder, for it acknowledged his hard work. It appreciated his efforts, and it gave him purpose. I know it doesn't need to be that deep. All we're doing is fucking watching YouTube videos and anime here. But this mindset shift of having something, a grind that you love doing, it giving you purpose. You go out there every day. You're lucky. I'm lucky that I'm able to go live and actually stream content and talk about, my opinions about things and give you my representation, and for it to be accepted in such a way that I can have monetized success with it. That provides fulfillment. That every day I get up thinking I'm lucky, I can do this. Like this is literally championship mindset. This is and I know how cringe and corny it sounds, and I'm trying to bring in all these different philosophical, takes into it, but genuinely, no matter what you do, the path of greatness, right? The mindset of a champion that requires you to become great, you need to be able to fucking lock in and have a work ethic that will never betray you, and to appreciate the journey. You can't obsess about point A to point B. Every 3 months or so, I talk about the algorithm, how much growth there is, and I cover that shit. But if that's all you care about, you're never going to get there. You only got there because you're enjoying what you're doing. The more fun you have, the better content you can make for your audience, the better you can do, right? So yearn for the boulder. Don't deny the boulder. Don't look at the boulder as some sort of eternal struggle. This is a privilege. The boulder will appreciate your efforts. And your hard ethic, your work ethic, it won't betray you.
Constantly bitch and complain about your job as a streamer to your audience full of people that are struggling to make a living, I think you're a piece of shit. I know what it's like to struggle. The value I have for $1 is way different than how other people value $1. My Christmases, maybe I got a few gifts. My friends were getting like 20, 30, 40 gifts. I didn't want 20, 30, 40 gifts. The idea of it at the time was like, damn, why are they getting so much? But I was still grateful for what I got. Not really understanding at the time how hard my parents were working just to give me those few gifts.
Yeah. Have you ever been in a family household where you didn't even want to ask for a gift because you as a child knew how much your parents were struggling financially? That was kind of like my household. There were years where I got gifts. Game Boy Advance, that was kind of cool. Really, really, really back in the day. But there are times where even a child realizes, damn, we're like fucking struggling. Like, why are all these like other kids like going to Mexico every other like half a year and all these different vacations? What the fuck is a vacation? Like, this is a concept I didn't know, because obviously we are, first generation immigrants here. And at a certain point, I remember like thinking to myself, like, should I even ask for these gifts or like a birthday gift? Because I know that we're struggling. And that also, I'm not trying to say my parents are bums. I'm trying to say, like, as first generation immigrants working jobs that are very undesired, growing up, I definitely like understood what it meant to be poor and what it meant to be rich. There's like a different understanding. As a kid, you don't really know why, like, oh, these cars are fancy. These parents have these jobs and my parents have to work these jobs. But as you grow up, you start to kind of be aware of that, and that really fucks with you. And I think that it's actually integral to my development as a human person, because there's this story from Gordon Ramsay. Gordon Ramsay, if you don't know, right? This guy. There's a quote about Gordon Ramsay he talks about his childhood, and he grew up in such a fucked up situation where he only had his mom, I think. His dad was like a deadbeat who tried to pursue, whatever artistic career, but it failed. And it was up to the mom to kind of like get shit together. And his brother also was like a drug addict. And Gordon basically every day was reminded that like he can't fuck up, because if he does, then these are the outcomes. You have a drug addict, you have a deadbeat dad bum, and then you have a mom that's struggling. And at school, there's basically, during his time, there's basically 2 lines. One line, and it's for lunch, right? It's for lunch where there's like a line for the preppy kids, the kids whose parents have money and can afford these nice lunches. And then the other line is for the poor kids, where these are basically like government subsidized lunches where your parents aren't paying out of pocket and you're kind of forced to line there. And he talked about how growing up as a kid, he didn't quite fully understand, but it was like a very chilling awareness, knowing the difference in financial backgrounds of what it meant to be poor and rich, and how he hated that. He hated that. And he wasn't like hating his mom that like, why don't you have the money? He hated the situation that his family was in and loathed how his mom had to do all this shit and suffer, and how he had to be reminded that we are basically failures in life. And when a kid growing up feels these concepts, there's 2 options. One is you're a loser. Maybe you'll go on to do, drugs and just cope and die. The other is there's a burning desire in you to prove everybody wrong. You want to be great. You want to prove everyone wrong and that you can be great. And those type of people succeed really hard. And you'll find that a lot of successful people, they're kind of fucked up. So what's the TLDR? That you should traumatize your kids? You should traumatize your children so that they're gonna have that dog in them. If you expose your kids to all these unfortunate things about reality, they're gonna have that iron in them to lock it and grind it out. I don't think so, but these are definitely interesting things and perspectives to think about, and how human beings can respond differently.
The things they were sacrificing just to provide for me. Now, I live in a fortunate position to take care of them when I want, just by sitting in this fucking chair watching anime and playing video games. And QT Cinderella, what she said, really woke me the fuck up.
Yeah.
Because this year, I felt very comfortable. You know what I mean? Like, I would wake up.
Yeah, I mean, look. He got married. He has a house. He's still on top of the game. He's got both channels doing well. His Patreon's doing well. His Twitch is doing well. What could he honestly complain about? Nothing, other than, the fucking rage baiting he gets online on Twitter about, right? But this is the thing. You have now met your materialistic needs. You don't really have to worry about money anymore. Maybe he could even retire and do nothing, but this is the thing, right? This is why I talk about Sisyphus, the boulder, the path to purpose and fulfillment. Because from the beginning, it should have never been about money, even though that's a very privileged thing to say. At a certain point, that amount of money, material goods are not going to do anything for you. A bigger house, more cars, more bitches, more vacation. Look at me. Look at the lavish life I'm living. Post that shit on Instagram. Expect to, flex on your high school friends or college friends and see how much of an important person I am. But those type of people, they feel empty inside. And they're pursuing such vacuous, chase for the superficial needs, because there is an emptiness in their heart that they cannot fill. And the more they try to fill that with money, the bigger the hole gets. That shit's fucking gripping, baby. It's not gripping anymore. It is not gripping, daddy, and it's getting wider and wider. Because why? Because at the core of it, you have no actual core fulfillment. You have nothing that actually gives you happiness. What gives me happiness is, again, the grind. I know it's kind of crazy to say that, but I think that I'm actually so fortunate that I'm shadow banned all the time. I think I'm so fortunate I'm treated as the underdog all the time. I'll talk about this in a future video, but there's a comment here that I want to talk about. I wanted to make an entire video about this. There's this one comment. I'm not talking about the fitness comment, but there's a comment here. This is going to be a pretty nothing burger comment, and you've probably already thought about this, but it's genuinely upsetting that you got so little views for this type of content for the Chainsaw Man movie reaction. Like, I've checked out probably 10 Resident reactions so far, and it's frustrating seeing people miss out on stuff and not stop and appreciate the work animator sound team put in. Even though you have a little bit of knowledge from the manga, you still try to put the effort in. This isn't the diss the other. Yeah. Basically, I get a lot of, comments like this telling me, you're so underrated. Why don't you get any views? I feel like you're the only one that gets it. And constantly being put in the underdog position and knowing that my true value is not represented just yet, that gives me like a purpose to prove them wrong, right? Not in some sort of external validation, but to prove to myself that I can be on top, right? And stuff like this, all these different missions and mindsets and purpose that I create for myself, this is what makes me happy. The grind that I put myself on, the bowl that I'm pushing up the hill, it is not some sort of, eternal suffering. It is the greatest thing I could ever ask for, and it is the source of my happiness. And no matter how much money I'm making now, 5 years later, 10 years down the line, if I can still say what I want to say and make content and have fun and cover things that I want to do and create a community of people that appreciate me for who I am, what more could I ask for? That's it. That's all I need. And to have this kind of core mindset, to separate yourself from material goods and to have a greater purpose in life that you create and chase after, that I believe is a true meaning of fulfillment, true meaning of life that so many people are asking for because they're confused and lost and they wonder, what is my mission here?
And usually I would stream around 9, 10, 11 a.m. in the morning. I stopped doing that for like 2 months. I just woke up, went downstairs. I didn't even work out. By the way, I just bought this gym so I could get back to fitness. Yeah, I bought a gym because of my streaming career. My hard job. Yeah, guys. I got too comfortable. I started complaining. And not only did I get too comfortable, I started complaining a lot. Oh, my
Yes, this is another big thing too. This is the ego part. And I have to also like catch myself too. The moment you start complaining, the moment it all starts to fall down, and it creeps up on you. You genuinely don't know how spoiled you are until you realize, damn, I'm being really fucking I'm being too much of a spoiled brat right now. Even I have to keep myself account and realize, why am I crashing out on random chat? Why am I getting angry at people simply trying to help out? Why am I taking these well-intentioned, comments in such a bad way and making the chat experience worse? Like, this is making it bad for everyone because I'm not able to handle my ego.
job is so hard. Oh my God, I only have 800 viewers. I usually have 900. And long story short, 2026 is coming up. And let's just say I am.
Yeah, like streamers like, for example, like, I don't know, like we've been averaging around like 250, 300 viewers on Twitch. We've been doing pretty well. Maybe on like an off day because I went live a different time or whatever, or like the show we're watching is doing bad, the viewership drops and it's like, I'm gonna end stream now. A lot of like streamers kind of, I feel like, do that when they play video games or cover other stuff and they see the viewership drop and they get depressed and they just go off because they feel entitled to the viewership. But like, this is then a feedback loop of, well, now you didn't show up, you didn't even entertain the people that stuck around, and you're gonna cry and complain about it. They're gonna see you as a loser, and then this is gonna make the people leave more and more. Like, this is a loop, man.
Done being comfortable. And you could thank this fucking tweet. You see this gym I have in the background? You see this chair I'm sitting in? You see this room I'm in? It's all because of you guys. It's all because of this content creation streamer career. If it wasn't for you guys viewing my videos, coming to these streams, I would not have any of this.
Wow.
I am the first person in my family, maybe even my friends, that owns a house. Woo! Everybody else lives in an apartment. I grew up in an apartment. They come over my house and it's like they're stepping into the Taj Mahal. Even though it's not a fucking mansion, it's a house. They can't believe what I was able to achieve just by watching anime.
It is crazy world. That's why, like, a lot of people, doing real jobs, real normie shit, it is hard to explain to my friends that, like, yeah, like, I know I went to school for, like, computer science and software engineering with you guys, and we all got a job together at these target companies, but I quit that shit to pursue talking about anime online, and I probably make more money than you will. And it's hard to, like, explain the game of social media and how profitable it can be if you actually do it well. It's genuinely a different life entirely. It's fucking crazy. And again, another privilege, right? Something that so many people desire, and an opportunity that I will never squander. Every fucking day, like, I will make sure, like, I hold myself accountable and deliver content at an acceptable pace and to keep this fire going.
Video games. My uncle was on the front lines in Vietnam, and I'm making maybe 10 times what he made sitting in my fucking chair playing Dark Souls. Imagine I went up to my uncle and I said, I have it hard. Motherfucker lost a leg.
And I think this is a very valuable lesson that we need to learn about the game that we all play, which is capitalism. I know that many people don't want to learn about this game at all, but I think it's so important to know the rules because so many people have this entitlement of, hey, the amount of effort you put into a job, how much you're suffering should proportionally correlate to how much money you're making. Unfortunately, that's not the case. There are times though, right, in real life where, let's say, working in an oil rig, you are risking your life, putting your life, in danger to make more money than, let's say, a comfortable job back home, right? So for sure, I understand where people are coming from. But like, what matters in capitalism, I think, is scamming children to send you money from their mom's credit card. Nah. What matters in capitalism is understanding the value that you represent. What kind of service, what kind of problem are you solving people? And what can you utilize to scale that off? What I'm doing is a very simple, thing. I'm simply, providing an experience and a service of watching these animes or providing opinions and perspective of things that you've already seen. And there is a demand for that. And I can have a business strategy that packages that such that it reaches so many more people, even though what I'm doing is very simple. The scalability of using social media to reach those audiences that are target audiences that may appreciate you for who you are, and then for them to support you, that is way more value being driven than me, I don't know, working at a fucking restaurant, a line cook, doing construction work, right? So you need to understand, like, you can play the 9 to 5 game, but there are very strict rules with that. But if you truly want to play the game of capitalism uncapped to true potential, you need to have a business. You need to be your own like brand company, that provides solutions, services, some sort of product that you can sell to people, because that's when you truly scale off of like how much effort you put in. How many times have people, worked hard at work and not gotten the amount of reward that should have been proportionately reflected? That's what I hated about my day job, that no matter how much effort I put in, that nothing's really going to change for me. But content creation, it's really cool that the more that I put into this, the more that I get back, and it encourages me to actually work even harder, and it's like a nice feedback loop.
Did I lose my souls after I lost to an NPC back to back? I want to make this clear to you guys. I worked for every single thing that I have. I am extremely proud of myself. Not only am I proud of myself, but I am extremely grateful. But along with all of those words, I am also lucky. I am fortunate. I am privileged. You could say how entertaining I am.
Luck is also a very important factor in all of this, right? What I hate are people who don't do anything with their lives and simply say, if I tried, I would have been, I would have been just as that good. It like strips away the amount of effort that other people that are pulling up every day in pursuit of success or greatness. It strips away any dignity that they're putting in, while these fucking losers do nothing with their lives and complain and say, oh, they just got lucky. Luck is a combination of what? Opportunity that you can't control, but preparation that you can control. If you're not preparing, if you're not understanding trends and trying to predict the markets and positioning yourself to get lucky, you will never get lucky. And even if you got lucky and had an opportunity come by, you're not prepared to even capitalize on it, and the opportunity will simply go away. While someone else who has been grinding, who has been preparing in whatever pursuit they're doing, they finally got an opportunity of a lifetime, they execute, boom, that's it. And that's the beautiful thing about this hustle, that even though it seems bleak, impossible, you can take as many L's as you want. All it matters sometimes is that one dub, that one moment to change everything around. It sounds like gambling, I know, but it is honestly very true.
But at the end of the day, I got lucky in the algorithm. There are people way more entertaining than I am with 5 subscribers, but I got lucky and I grabbed onto that luck and I'm holding on to it.
It's smart. Like, again, so many people will downplay Nicholas Light as like just loud equals funny, haha, all he does is scream. Why isn't this, PhD analysis anime reactor not getting any viewership? Because you don't understand the game. Think about the market. Think about the type of users that exist, the audience. What's the lowest common denominator? Children. Young people who do find Nicholas Light's loud, passionate, engaging reactions to have value. And he can scale off of that. It's the biggest piece of the market that exists. And he's smart enough to understand by instinct. I don't know if he is like logically aware of what he's doing, but at a fundamental instinctual level, he knows this game and plays it off really well and has done amazing things to do. I'm not saying his entire audience is a bunch of fucking Cocomelon baby kids, but his content appeals to this big part of the demographic that a lot of people are unaware of. And because of that comes this entitlement of like, why isn't this reactor getting more views than this guy, even though all this guy does is scream? Because you're not really aware of the game that we're playing.
as long as I can. So when I hear millionaires saying they wish they never did the thing that made them millions, it drives me fucking crazy. You have 80-year-olds working at grocery stores because they can't afford to make a living in their New York City apartments. 80-year-olds that should be like 20 years retired by now. They're still working.
Wonder if Nick would have voted for Mamdani if he was in New York. Now that he's bringing up, you know, affordable housing. I wonder if he would have.
Cinderella, Ludwig, Hassan, all of these fucking streamers, they could retire right now if they want to.
Yep.
They don't have to do anything they're doing. They don't have to stream anymore. Imagine that. Imagine you're able to retire before you reach the age of 30. Now, I don't know how old they are, but I'm sure in their 20s, they were making millions. And
I think they are in their late 20s, if not early 30s, right?
I'm going to tell y'all a secret. Not a lot of people in their 20s are making millions of dollars. Now, I also want to make this clear.
Not really a secret, but yeah, that is so true. I think that social media has made it more dystopian in the amount of children who play like Minecraft or like, you know, video games, becoming just like worldwide sensations and millionaires, and then they look at themselves and how they're still living at home because of how fucked up the job market is or how unaffordable things are, and they're like, I don't have millions. And again, this disconnect and this constant reminder of the position you're in versus these big streamers, right? It creates an even more desire to want to be them, right? This desperateness. And again, I understand why it feels like a slap in the face that Cutie would say this shit, despite so many people wishing they were in the same position.
Just because you make millions, just because you have this fantasy life.
Tectone said Hassan is 45. Bro, Hassan is like 34 or 33 and Tectone is like 31 or some shit. Dude, they're like in the same generation. It's literally like an 18-year-old kid calling a 21-year-old unk.
That people would die for doesn't mean you can't be sad, doesn't mean you can't be depressed. You can be. I mean, look at me, for example. I bought a house, I got married, I'm having the most successful year of my content creation life this year in 2025, but I still lost myself a bit because I haven't worked out in 6 months. And fitness was a big part of me, but I got lazy, I got
I think there is another part of this where his negative interactions on Twitter, like, it's not helping out. I understand that he wants to farm the impressions, but like, a lot of the times people will clap back at Nick saying, you're so successful, you're married, you have a house, you have 1 million subscriber plus, and you're making so much money, yet why are you in the fucking trenches arguing with random retards trying to rage bait you online, right? And I think that the fitness part probably does play into it, where if you're not actively exercising and your body isn't regulated, you know, then you're going to fall into, you know, these different clutches, whether it be engaging in the trenches on Twitter. So fitness might kind of alleviate that. But yeah, I think that a happy, successful person should not be going into Twitter and doing that shit. I think it'd be way better for Nick to kind of just like have higher standards and not respond to these fucking roaches that want to have a reaction out of it in a predictable way.
Comfortable. And because I haven't done something that made me who I was, I lost myself and I got a little sad. I got a little depressed despite all of the amazing, beautiful things in my life. I'm traveling the world. But there's a difference between being sad and depressed and being regretful, telling your audience you regret it, when clearly we all know you do not regret it. Because if you really feel this way, don't
just quit. Just leave. Go work a fucking burger job. Well, she says she can because she says she's beholden to the opportunity because she's aware of the privilege that she has.
Donate all of your money, stop streaming, stop making content, and go become a barista. Go become a waiter. Survive off $1,000 paycheck monthly. And if your answer to that is no, then shut your fucking mouth. Guys, I want to make this.
Everything that Nick has said is correct. It's just that we're kind of like arguing past the post because, again, I don't think he understood fully what the clip said, right? I do want to play defense for Cutie and acknowledge the context where she highlighted, like, she's very aware how privileged she is and that, like, this is a stupid thing to throw away. And she then speaks specifically about, again, the mental health deterioration that comes with streaming, which is unique to that, but then still is unable to recognize that a 9-to-5 can have different issues. But Nick is right.
It's clear to you. When I wake up, I could decide right then and there if I want to work for the day. And if I just think for a second, nah, I'm good. There you go. Looks like I'm just chilling on the couch all day, scrolling through Twitter, deleting tweets of me saying slurs in the past.
Hey, at least he's aware.
I am fortunate. I am blessed. I am
Yes.
extremely grateful. I am extremely lucky. Am I allowed to get sad? Am I allowed to get depressed?
Yes.
Stressed? Of course I am. At the end of the day, what I do is a job, no different than your job. And I'm not saying my job is as hard as your job, but we both work. If I don't work, if I never worked, none of this would be possible. It's way more than just recording a video and uploading it.
Yeah, and if it was that simple, do it yourself. Try it. Try to copy Nicholas Light and see how much success you can have with it. I genuinely, like, if for the people that are saying, what are you fucking complaining about? This shit's so easy. I have a performance review playlist where I teach and coach people about the mistakes I've made and then use a second channel to measure the success and have actually completed it. I've given you the blueprints. So anyone complaining about this shit, saying it's so easy, go do it yourself. I made it easy for you. Show me if you can do it. I guarantee you won't do it.
And oh, bam, right there, you're making millions of dollars. But if we're ranking streaming content creation on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the hardest, most difficult job in the world, and 1 being I could do this shit in my sleep, I'd honestly give it a 3. And I know
it depends on how you measure like difficulty, because just going live to watch a video game or watch shows, it's not hard to do. That's like a fucking 0. Any fucking idiot can turn the webcam on and be boring, right? But like anything, there are levels to it, right? How engaging can you be? How much can you actually like entertain your audience and work with it? And then beyond that, how much actually success can you have from this, right? Because so many people are, again, are just stuck at the bottom of the abyss, streaming to an audience of like 1 person, which is probably like their fucking friend who has like an open tab on the side out of pity. So in terms of actually streaming, the act of doing it, literally no difficulty. You just play video games, just watch shows. But to have success with it, to actually actively engage and have success with it, that shit's fucking hard. But you can then say this about most of the things like basketball or soccer. Just put the ball in the net. What a simple thing to do. But there's levels, right?
what people are gonna say. Well, what are you talking about? It should be a 1. You're just watching cartoons and playing video games. Well, yeah, I could easily do that. But then if I was just doing that and not entertaining you guys and not doing my edits and not thinking of new ideas, and I was just simply in my corner reacting like this. Wow. Wow, that was crazy. Wow.
Type shit.
Wow, amazing. I'd still be living
Just read the subtitles.
with my parents. All right. To wrap all of this up, I'm gonna make the next minute or so more about me. So if you don't care about me, just turn the shit off right
I thought this entire video was about you.
now. In the new year, I have an objective. I have a goal, and that is to
okay.
become a full-time streamer. I got 2
I don't understand this. Why is he not a full-time streamer yet? I genuinely don't, like, bro makes like 20 times what I make. How is he not a full-time? What is he doing with his life? I mean, he got a wife. I get that. Maybe he got some family shit. But like, you don't have a day job. And you've been saying full-time streamer since last year. Like, that's the thing I don't understand about Nick. Like, I've been doing full-time streaming now for about like a year and a half now after I quit my day job. You have already reached that position doing part-time streaming and had way more success. What's he doing? I'm genuinely like confused. Like, what?
comfortable this year.
Well, like this guy is not a person who is on the come up, you know, holding a fucking day job down and then deciding to quit to go full time. This guy has been in the top of the game for many, many fucking years, and he's still. I don't get it.
I have an objective.
A lot of content creation and streaming. True. Actually, true. No. Basically, a lot of people record offline, right? The streaming to Nick isn't just, you know, recording and reacting to YouTube videos and anime reactions like the workflow that I have. He has a bunch of like offline reactions, making, you know, Patreon videos and stuff like that, which is not streaming. So, okay, in that context, that actually kind of makes sense.
I have a goal, and that is to become a full-time streamer. I got too comfortable this year. I am done being comfortable. I want to stream.
How long will this last? How long will this last? Nicholas Light. Let's see. No, this is Tectone. It's kind of crazy. Tectone just disappeared off the face of the map, though. Tectone just gone after October 8th. What the fuck happened? Anyways, Nicholas Light. What has he been up to? Not this guy. This guy. When is the last time he streamed? October 16th. Bro does monthly streams? He was kind of on a roll for August, right? But yeah, I guess he has a different, you know, type of workflow that doesn't, you know. How well have I done? I haven't seen myself in a while. That's me. Hey. Hey, it's me. Here we are. Okay, going up and down and up and down. All right, that sounds about right, right? Definitely at the height of Lord of Mysteries and summer shit. That's where it really pops off. But when the trends are down, what do we have? We have the base community. We're still holding on. We're still doing well. Every fucking day, baby. Every fucking day. Live every fucking day. 7 out of 7 active days. Let's see how many streams I've actually like. Let's see all time. Let's see. He got banned for watching Nukitashi? Maybe he did. I don't know. So here is my full actual chart. What am I looking at here? So the green is the average viewers. This is the followers, hours streamed. I was kind of looking for like a different, tab that shows, how many days I've had. But I think I've been doing pretty decent. I think that I've been holding on, consistent, grinding, doing my thing. This is a funny part where the followers all dropped to 0. That was on September 11th, by the way. The real ones know. The real ones know what happened on 9/11/2024 when I quoted a certain content creator and got permanently banned.
Full time. I want to travel more, do streams IRL while I'm traveling. I want to make better content. I want to spread my wings even more. I don't want to just do anime. I want to play video games.
Yeah.
I want to do commentary.
Yeah.
I don't want to trap myself inside of a box. The other day I watched
Smart. And something that big creators should be thinking about. If you're brand new though, don't even think about this. You diversify your portfolio as a new creator and you end up fracturing your audience before you even have a semblance of a community, you die. I think the best thing you can do obviously is captivate on trends and see something that hits and farm that as much as you can, but then try to get those people to then become your core community members and then try to do variety content off of that. And that's how you actually create sustainability, longevity. You don't want to be stuck to a specific game. You don't want to be stuck to a specific series. You will have short-term success by hyper-focusing on one thing. But once that series is done, once that video game is done, once that trend has died down, all those tourists will leave and you have nothing but a ghost town.
Watched the Streamer Awards, and there's something Kai Cenat said. And I'm not trying to start drama. To be honest with you, nobody cares about me at the end of the day, okay? I'm not on Kai Cenat's level.
Aware.
But I just want to say, what he said was fucking dumb. He
Mental
said
health?
Streamers should be themselves.
Wait.
But I just want to say, what he said was fucking dumb.
Oh, shit! Okay, lock in!
He said streamers should be themselves. Meanwhile, everybody that was at the Streamer Awards, they're not themselves.
Yeah. That's like a really rich person, like a millionaire saying, follow your passions. Follow whatever interests you and everything will line up. No, if you do that, you might just be homeless. These are like platitudes and, hopeful words that super rich people kind of say because they have reached this level of enlightenment and material wealth where it becomes a little bit out of touch, right? Everyone's playing up a specific character or persona or doing something to appease a big part of the audience that's there for that, right?
The people that are not invited are the ones that are themselves. If you are yourself, you are banned from these types of things.
Well, yes and no. If you're an actual Nazi, if you're an actual hateful person who hates gay people, trans people for existing, if you hate women for the sake that they're women, and then that's what you were, then yes, because there are TOS, there are violations. Come on now, right? Like, are we gonna actually just invite a fucking Nazi or just a complete, white supremacist, racist, like fucking Klans member here? That's the intent. Come on now, right? Come on now. But I think there is more to it than that of like, a lot of the times people want to be themselves, but that shit is not funny. Or that shit is not that compelling. What is compelling though is a persona, such as Nicholas Light's persona. How crazy it is. And that type of sensationalism drives engagement. Do you know why my growth is so slow? Other than the explanation I made for the YouTube algorithm. And this isn't me trying to make an excuse about, oh, I'm the only real one and I can only grow slow this way. It's because I don't know if you guys have, realized this watching other streams. How different are YouTube videos versus streams when people pull up to that content? Not even talking about anime reactions too, because on YouTube, these are highly curated, edited videos. The whole goal is to be as loud and as shockingly as possible to keep people on and engaged. You pull up to their Twitch chat, they're not doing anything. They're low energy. There's nothing going on because obviously it's not content mode. And I feel like many of the content that I represent Like, I don't even try to be sensationalist. I'll say some out of hand shit sometimes because I got riled up. But for the most part, I'm literally just like being me. And that's boring to a lot of people. But at the same time, this actually starts to grow more of a following as time passes. And it's also more sustainable for me. I can simply just be myself without worrying about putting on a mask or to appease anybody. I can just simply give my takes, and there's no pressure for me to be some sort of crazy sensationalist person for the safe stuff of engagement, which, you know, makes my mental health kind of sane and consistent, right? So there is a part of me that says be true to yourself, but at the same time, I think that you need to understand who are your competition, what's the market like, what are other people doing, what kind of success are they having with that, and try to emulate some of that and try to customize to your own while staying true to yourself.
So that's what I want to do in 2026. I want to show more of myself, if not be myself completely. Right now, I'd say I'm 70%. The other 30% I shy away from because I don't want to split people up. I'm afraid to try new content. I don't want my audience to get mad. In 2026, I simply don't give a fuck.
I think Nicholas Light should drop his entire persona if he doesn't like it. If it's so fatiguing to constantly be this hype man who is there for the theatrics, and if this is, you know, wearing him down, and if there truly is a different side to him, just like this video where he's more real like that, I would love that. And honestly, for him at his size, even losing a big chunk of the major audience, I'm sure he could grow up the new audience that appreciates him for who he is. And here's the thing, the more content you make for kids, the more it's gonna fail later on, in my opinion. I'm not saying that this is gonna happen to Nick, but I've seen a lot of people whose content, like basically they're young kids making content for young kids. But as time passes, those young kids grow up and they realize like these edgy jokes and yelling isn't funny anymore. And then they lose their entire base. And now that young content creator has grown older, and now he's unrelatable. They're unrelatable to the new audience coming up, and you fucked up. The way that I do my content is very akin to Asmongold's. My content is not meant for young people. I'm trying to get older people involved, right? I'm trying to get older people who want commentary and deep diving analysis or whatever. And those type of people appreciate my maturity for who I am. And that's very sustainable, right? So I think that Nicholas Light could absolutely do something like that if you wanted to like do a rebrand or pivot content. And it'll be cool to see if he can actually grow with that too.
I am doing what I want to do. I am watching anime. I am playing games. I am doing commentary. I am talking about drama. I'm probably going to get myself into some drama. I don't just want to be the anime guy. And I think in 2025, I stopped being the anime guy.
Yeah, and haters will say it's because nothing was trending. You're a fucking anime tourist. All you're doing is dragging, you know, One Punch Man because nothing is popping off. You're a fraud. Listen, there is a partial truth in that, and how big channels like Nicholas Light definitely do dominate off of big top-heavy titles, and they don't farm no other seasonal content series because that's not how their channel is designed by algorithm way. If they farm random series like me, then it's bad. Like I said, Nicholas Light is like a big boutique store, like a luxury, like Gucci, fucking Louis Vuitton, like basically big, just huge, just like it's all theatrics, like boom, right? And they go really hard with it. All they need is one sale. All they need is one sale with one product. Boom. They've already fucking made way more than I could ever by scrounging up all these little different titles. We're like the bargain sale on the fucking streets, you know, doing random fucking, you know, fucking flea sales, checking out everything and anything. But doing this kind of allows me an opportunity to cover anything, everything that I want, and slowly amass an audience that appreciates my commentary for who I am. Definitely different strategies involved in content creation. Anything works. It's just, what kind of person are you?
Or at least I stopped only being the anime guy. My gaming streams were blowing up with Wuthering Waves, Dark Souls, Elden Ring, and that was just the beginning. I was doing that shit part-time. So imagine if I start doing it full-time, what I'm capable of. And I am the only person in the way of that. My comfort didn't allow me to reach that level, to reach that success that I've wanted. I want to be on that level of these top streamers you see at these events. But I also don't want to be at these events. You know?
He just wants that clout. I think that the way Nick is approaching this is dangerous because he's so like metrics focused, right? He wants to be that top streamer, having like multiple like 5-figure views, right? 10,000, 20,000 viewer Andy. But again, right? Like if the main purpose isn't internal, like basically, it can be internal, right? He wants to prove to himself that he can be a top dog doing other content. And that itself is like a pursuit and an endeavor that he creates, and every day he works towards that. And if he's genuinely having fun with that success and having it, then yeah, I think that grind can definitely be worth it.
You know why? Because I want to be myself. And that's what gets you in trouble nowadays. But I simply just don't give a fuck anymore. So I am impatiently waiting for 2026. And yes, people say, don't wait, just do it now. I want to spend time with family. I want to see my friends. I want to enjoy the holidays. But once the holidays are over, I hate saying this word. It's so...
David Goggins would call you a bitch right now, Nick. Do it now. Do you even take this shit seriously? Fuck your family. Abandon your family. Leave your wife. Stream every fucking day, 25 hours, 8 days a week. If you don't do this, then you don't care enough. You're just being a bitch. Blah. I love those TikToks. It's the craziest fucking hustle mindset that it's like comical. It's like so extreme and like unreasonable that it becomes funny because of how hard you're trying to be.
So fucking cringe, but I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna be on that grind. And hopefully I don't off myself because of how hard I'm gonna be working. All the anime I'm gonna be watching, all the video games I'm gonna be playing. Hopefully I don't Kurt Cobain myself.
Hopefully that's not the case either.
Hey.
You know what? And if that comes to a point, just make a video like this. Again, like this type of video is like him talking about his mental health and explaining how some of the struggles he has while at the same time not sounding like a spoiled person. And that's how you know, control your community. You never want to paint yourself as a loser. You explain, you know, your struggles, that you are just a human being like the rest of us. And that these are the steps that you're going to take to basically change yourself. And it's motivational. It turns from a pity party to something encouraging, and the community bonds around that. That's a great way to, you know, actually handle your audience. This stuff though, again, the cutie stuff, again, I think what she said is obviously going to trigger a lot of people for the position that she's in. I think that she is wrong in the way that she thought that there's not going to be any mental health struggles. There's going to be different types of mental health struggles when you don't stream. And she didn't acknowledge that. And therefore, now it's getting painted in a dishonest way and people dragging it. I think it's a bit crazy. She is definitely aware. If she wasn't aware of the privileges that she had and didn't even mention about the opportunity that she'd never throw away because obviously she understands, then I'd be like, yeah, this girl is fucking stupid. But I don't think so. Overall, the messaging in this video is good. I think that this is the right mindset to have. And I just yapped for an hour. This is hour and 15 minutes, 16-minute recording right now off of a fucking 13-minute video. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what Nick said. Basically, you got to realize my reaction content, all I care about is random talking points from somebody, and then I go off of a tangent and bring my own, you know, opinion about that. That's why people are so confused. How can you make like one comment into whatever, like 50-minute long? How do you make like a 30-second? Because I'm actually making content. Because I'm actually fucking reacting. Here's a link to the video. Go check out Nick. I'll see you next time.